My name is Kristen Campbell, and I am the FFA advisor and the agricultural education teacher for Piketon High School in Piketon, Ohio. Today we are going to be making bread in a bag. I have a copy of the recipe. Yes, I spilt something on it. Looks like chocolate, but this is a copy of the recipe, but we're going to go through step by step on how to make it. Your end product will be a delicious warm loaf of bread. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our 1 cup of warm water to the bag. Then we're going to add 2 teaspoons. So 1, 2, and a quarter. And this is equivalent to 1 packet if you buy it in the packets of activated dry yeast. And you're also going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar. Remember what we said, the sugar is what feeds the yeast. Then we're going to close that up. Let out all the air. And then mix it up. So once I have that all mixed together, it's going to start activating. And this bag has been sitting here for about 8 minutes. So we need 10 minutes, and you can see all the little bubbles in it. That means that your yeast is activating. You see all those little bubbles? It's a chemical reaction. So in chemistry, the yeast activates with the water and it feeds with the sugar. So we're going to let it sit a little bit longer. Remember, I took all the air out of it. Now look at the air coming back in it, and that's just the gas that it's putting off because it's activating. For the next step, you want to get a piece of parchment paper and you want to put some flour down on it. You also want to get your hands in the flour so that when you put your dough out there, it does not stick to your hands. Okay, so once you get all your bags of flour, or all your flour in there, and all your ingredients in there, and you've got it for the last time, then you should have a consistency like this. The bread actually pulls away from the side of the bag. It's sticky consistency, and you're ready to put it out on the flour and the wax paper so that you can knead it. And then it'll need to rise. So we'll take a look at it after it's risen in just a moment. Okay, so now we're going to finish doing our bread. You can see all of the bubbles. This has been 10 minutes, and you see those large activated bubbles. That means that our yeast is ready to work in our bread, and that we should have nice fluffy bread when we're finished. So we're going to open it up, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add a cup of flour. So I always tell the kids to add the flour, and then you want to take something and smooth it off. So you have a level scoop of flour, because too much flour is going to make the bread too dry. So we're going to add that in together. We're going to close up our bag. And we're going to just mix it in. So instead of using a mixer or a beater, we just use the bag, and we use our hands in order to mix all the flour into the yeast mixture, water yeast mixture. Okay, so when you got it mixed in good and you don't have any big lumps of flour in there, you're going to open it back up, and you're going to add another cup of flour. Once again, take it, level it off, add it in there. Now, on this step, we're going to add also 3 tablespoons of oil. Why do we add the oil? We add the oil, 1, to make it the bread a little softer, but also to keep it from sticking to the pan. So we're going to add 3 tablespoons, and this is just vegetable oil, Crisco vegetable oil, to our bread mixture. So there's 2, and here is 3. What else do we need? We also need a ½ teaspoon of salt. Why do we add salt? Same thing I tell my kids is we always add salt for flavor. Salt always adds flavor to everything, right? So it enhances the flavors that are already in there, and then it adds its own flavor to it. So then we're going to close it up again, our bag up again, and we're going to mix that flour and the oil and the salt together. You can tell our consistency of our bread is getting a little different. So once you get all of that mixed together and there's no apparent flour in the bag, we're going to open it up one more time. And we are going to add 1 more cup of flour. So we smooth it off. And we close it up, and then we mix it. And always remember, the one thing that you need to do before you cook at any time is that you always wash your hands. You want to wash your hands for 20 seconds. That's singing with soap and water, and that's singing the ABC song or Happy Birthday. Same thing as you want to make sure that there's not any of the flour showing. All right, now we're ready for our next step. All right, so now our bread has risen for a ½ an hour, and you can see that now it has raised above the edges of the pan. We're going to put it in the oven, once again at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. So we're going to set our timer. And we're going to set it for 25 minutes. We want to look for it to be golden browned. All right, so we're going to pop it in the oven, right in the middle of the oven, and we'll let it go, and we're going to start it. Okay, so it has been 25 minutes, and like I said, we're looking for a golden brown bread, and you can see in the oven that we pull out our bread, and it is a nice golden brown color. Look at that yummy, yummy bread. So now we are going to wait about 10 minutes for it to cool down. It should slide right out of the pan. So we will slide it out of the pan. And it's very hot. So we will flip it over and we're going to let it cool a little bit. And now you have fresh baked bread.